obviously I want hit and run as well. It's just a question of which console. Do you get it on the GameCube where it runs better, or do you want to get it on the PS2 where it's cheaper? What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the free trading game collection challenge, this series where I look to build a video game collection without spending any money on it. We do spend money in the series though. We buy video games and bundles of games, a console, controllers, etc. and so on, and we sell part of what we pick up to make the money back. Sometimes we even make a profit, and if there's anything left over, if I want to keep it, we'll put it into the collection. If not, we take it into CEX, get a voucher, and we pick up the games that we actually want. We are building a collection, but I'm not just building it for the sake of building it. I want to pick up games that I had as a kid, pick up games that I want to play now that I had as a kid or that I didn't get a chance to play as a kid, or games that are new and are coming out that I haven't had a chance to play. Streets of Rage 4, I have now completely finished it on the Switch, and I've started it again. There is a new Turtles game out on the Switch that I really want to pick up. I am a massive fan of the Turtles franchise in general. Love the live action films, loved all the games from the 80s and 90s, and of course Simpsons is another one. Simpsons is that thing that I'm slowly getting back into. I watched it for years, and I was all the way up to like season, I don't know, maybe 18, 19, and I could recite every single word to you, and then I kind of dropped off it, a bit like Family Guy, but now I'm getting back into it a little bit and watching a little bit more, watching people play Hit and Run and watching a guy remake Hit and Run, which is a fantastic series, and it kind of makes me want to go back and pick up all these Simpsons games. We pick up, what did we pick up? Treehouse of Horror on the Game Boy the other week. I'd like to pick up, and we have to have a Mega Drive game as well, but I'd like to pick up a few more of those, and obviously I want Hit and Run as well. It's just a question of which console. Do you get it on the GameCube where it runs better, or do you want to get it on the PS2 where it's cheaper and that's where I played it as a kid? I'm not sure. Anyway, today's bundle, 6 games, all from Vinted, which means we're not leaving the house. We're just going to sit here and go through the bundle of games. £22 spent, although I had to buy them in 2 separate lots because the person I bought them off was drip feeding them onto Vinted. It was a bit of a pain in the backside, actually, because we paid double the postage we had to, but there we are. And, in fact, I had to pick up a game that I didn't really want to pick up, and that is Tour de France on the PS3. It's the only PS3 game in this bundle. The rest of them are Sega Saturn games, but this was a necessary evil. I say that, I do actually want to play this. I've never played a Tour de France game before, and they look good, and I'm not a massive fan of cycling, like watching it, but I do like to cycle myself, so I could definitely get into it. But I didn't realise these came out on, I would say next gen, but newer gen, so PS4. You can get a few of them on the PS4, I think 2 or 3 of them. And then there are older ones like this one, and in fact, I think this is on the PS4. But either way, you can get them on the newer consoles. So I don't really know if I'm going to play this. I kind of needed it just to get a 40% discount. On Vintage, you can do these things where you add one game. If you add another one, you get 5% off. If you add another one, you get 10% off. This person was offering 40% for 5 items. So that was the 5th item. I just needed to add something to activate that 40%. So we've already picked up Sega Worldwide Soccer 97. There's only one more on the console, and that's Sega Worldwide Soccer 98. I think you know where I'm going with this. There it is. Never played it. Love 97. It's what made me want the console. We've already been through this. But for some reason, never played this. Don't know why. It looks better than 97 in terms of graphics. It looks more improved. There looks to be like a fair few more options. Stadium Select, we didn't have that in 97, I don't think, and a few other game modes. But that, I think, based on CEX prices, is about £10 roughly boxed. It might be 8 to 10. It's in and around that ballpark, which I think is quite good considering all this was £22, including delivery. Next up, a game that I had on the N64, and a game that I think in the future I will pick up on the N64, so don't expect this to be in the collection for too long, because I don't really see the point in doubling up on games. It is the final football game of the collection, or this little collection, and that is FIFA Road to the World Cup 98. This was an absolute banger. It is better than the fully fledged World Cup game that we have just sat behind that F1 game right there. The case is falling apart. It kind of needs to be propped up at this point. But yeah, I want to get this on the N64 because that's where I had it. It is complete. I mean, like I say, it looks good. It's just FIFA at the end of the day. If you've played it, you know exactly what it's about. Let me read you this one line off the back, though. Virtual motion, engine for unlimited fluid animation. Unlimited. On a Sega Saturn, unlimited fluid animation. I need to try it just to see if that... I mean, what does that even mean? Unlimited fluid animation. That sounds incredible. So, next up, another game that I won't expect you to see really much longer. I think it's going to go almost immediately because we already have this on the PlayStation 1, and it is Jonah Lomu Rugby. Absolute banger of a game. One of the only rugby games that I played religiously growing up. In fact, ever. I've played a fair few rugby games. There's the Rugby 95 on the Mega Drive, which was absolutely insane when I was a kid. I loved that. I don't like rugby. I'm Welsh and I don't like rugby. I know, sue me. But I used to play that game a lot. And then this came along, and I love this as well. The commentary, the gameplay, everything about it is absolutely fantastic. But we already have it on the PS1, and that's where I played it as a kid. So I don't really think I'm going to keep it. This is in such good condition that I'm going to be able to open it because it's really stiff. The manual is perfect. The disc has very minimal to no scratches on it at all. It's in such good condition that I think I would be able to sell that for between 15 and 20. I've done it with a similar game before, so I know I can push the envelope, if you will, if the game is in better condition. Done it with PS1 games in the past. Next up is another game that I'm not sure whether to keep. I think I will for the time being. We don't have the console, which is obviously a big draw for me to just sell these and pick them up on other consoles. But the other thing is, I played it on the Saturn for a little bit as a kid, but I got it on the PS1 soon after, and that is Destruction Derby. This is an absolute banger of a game. I'm not going to open it because the case is dodgy, but it does have the manual and the disc in it. No, I don't want to open it. I'm just... There you go. If I open it any more than that, it'll just fall apart. But, banger of a game. The Sega Saturn is actually more powerful than the PlayStation 1. It's got more computing power. Whether that means it's going to be better graphics or not, I really don't know. And I can't remember off the top of my head. But I don't know whether to keep it or whether to get rid of it. I think I'll probably get about £10, maybe a little bit more. The condition of the manual and the disc is fine. It's literally just the case. And of course, you can't swap out the cases because the artwork is like glued to the case, so there's not an awful lot I can do about that, but I might be able to get £10 to £12 for this if I decided to sell it. But for right now, I think I'm going to keep it. That was the first bundle. There's one game left, and it is the gem, but that is the one bundle of 5 games. I got 40% discount on that because the guy's crazy, but there it is. Had the other game been listed at the same time of these, I would have bought those 4 and this other Sega Saturn game together, and I would have not got this. But unfortunately, that game was listed first, and then these were listed after I bought it. So, £22, all in. Bear in mind, Jonah Lomu Rugby probably will sell for about 20, maybe a touch less. Destruction Derby could sell for 10 if I wanted to. World Cup 98, I think, boxed goes for about 10. Sega Worldwide Soccer 98 probably goes for between 6 and 10. Tour de France is negligible. I don't think it's worth anything. But we've made more than enough money there. And that's without this beauty of a game. This is one of my favourite franchises ever. This isn't my favourite game from the franchise, but I still love it anyway. And that is Road Rash. This is such a good game. Road Rash 3 on the Mega Drive is my favourite, for those who are wondering. Then I'd probably go for this, and then maybe Road Rash 2 on the Mega Drive. This is an insane game, and I feel like it's better on the Saturn. I think it did come out on the PS1. I think it came out on the PC as well, but I do prefer it on this console, and for that reason I am going to keep it. This isn't going anywhere. It is complete. So there you go, the manual, Big Beef Boy. I mean, that is a thick manual, and then we have the disc. There is actually a spot for another disc there, and I was very confused and a little bit like, oh no, have I been sold a bum game? Was it meant to be a 2-disc job? No, it wasn't. I don't think there are many 2-disc games on the Sega Saturn. There are a few, but I don't think there are many. This isn't one of them, so I had to check it, but still, what a game this is. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Now, essentially, this was around £8. That's what it works out as. Everything else was 12, including delivery. This works out at about 8. Well, maybe 14, and so this was 8. Yeah, that makes sense. This sells for about 30 to 40. it is. I wouldn't say it's a big hitter, but it is a decent game. Like in terms of value, it is one of those that's up there a little bit. That's going to go pride of place on the shelf for the time being. But those 6 games, okay, the PS3 game is a little bit like why, but those 6 games cost £22. If I haven't mentioned it already, we have got triple, dare I say quadruple our money out of that if I really want to. And like I said, I think I probably will sell 2 or 3 of them. I might not even wait for to pick up FIFA 98 on the N64. I might just sell the Road to the World Cup now. I don't think it trades in for much of anything, unfortunately, but I think they do sell it for a tenner, I think. I can't find Road to the World Cup. It just does not exist on the website. I'm pretty sure it's there, but even if you type in FIFA, it just doesn't come up. Road Rash, incidentally, is a £30 game on the website. I think there are only a couple of stores that actually have it, but it's there. It's about £30 game, which is not bad at all. But what we're going to do now, just very briefly, is have a little look at these consoles, because I need a console, right? And there aren't that many knocking about. I can go on eBay and buy one, but do I really want to trust anyone on eBay buying a console that's, 20, 30 years old? I don't know if I do, because it might not be working, there might be something wrong with it, it might be NTSC or whatever it may be. So I'm thinking I kind of want to buy one from CEX. The issue, if I have a little look at the stores on this right-hand side, there are all the stores that have Sega Saturns in stock. Now, you can't really see them too well, but there's only one in Wales, and that is North Wales, which is obviously no good to me. Scotland's too far. To be fair, there are none. There are no stores that are anywhere near me. I think the nearest one is probably Tamworth, maybe, and that's Birmingham, and that's so far away from me, it's unreal. It's about an hour and 45-minute drive, maybe a little bit more, so it's just not going to happen. What one, just out of pure curiosity, what one do they have in Tamworth? They have the Model 2 unboxed. Now, I had the Model 2. I think the only difference between them is the controller. I might be wrong, but the controller is the controller on the Model 2 is the controller that I had with my console. But like I said, I might be wrong. The cheapest one we can get is £80, and that is for a Model 1 in fairly bad condition, I guess, because it says discounted, and that is what they class as bad condition. Unboxed is decent condition, but with no box. I would love a box, don't get me wrong, but I can't really justify spending £60, maybe more, on a box. Do you know, it doesn't really make an awful lot of sense to me. So I have like 2 options realistically, and I've just thought of this. I could now work towards a Sega Saturn. Of course, I would really be at the mercy of someone trading one into a CEX store. Don't necessarily have to get it from CEX, but the way that I'm thinking is that we try and build up as close to £100 in credit as we can. We still do the weekly buying games sort of thing, spending the profit, where we spend between 5 and 15, because then we keep it ticking over. There's some content there, and actually we can add some games to the collection, but we ultimately don't spend any credit that we accumulate until we can pick up a Sega Saturn, so we can actually play some of these games. The other option is to potentially sell every game that we've just picked up. I'm talking even Road Rash, Destruction Derby, Jonah Lomu Rugby, World Cup 98, possibly even Worldwide Soccer 98 as well. Not that I think that's going to sell for much, but still. We sell all of those, and then we have enough to buy a Saturn. And then we either wait for one to come in stock into CEX, or we go to another store. Like there's a collectible and video game store in Gloucester that we've been to before. They probably have one. There is a shop in Bristol that is an independent retailer as well that sell video games and things. They probably have one. So we could do that. Which do you think is the better idea? Do we just sell our entire Sega Saturn collection to buy a Sega Saturn console and then start from scratch? Or do we keep what we have? We're still selling Jonah Lomu Rugby anyway, so we're going to have £20 to put towards whatever we decide to do, roughly. And then go and maybe try and build up the credit to be able to get a Saturn for when CEX have one in stock. What do you think is for the best? Which is the best idea? Because, Road Rash isn't a rare game, it's just a £30 game. So even if I sell it, it doesn't mean that I can't get it back again, because I will be able to get it back again. But I'm just thinking, if I can get 30 to 35 for it on eBay, and we get, 20 and 10 and 10 and 10 for the other ones, we've got enough to buy like an 80, 90 pound Saturn. So it does kind of make sense to do that. What I'm going to do with the collection profit and things as well is I'm not going to touch anything. The games that we've picked up, they will go on display in the collection for the time being, but I'm not going to add them, and I will make a note of it. So when we decide what we're going to do, that's when I'll adjust the figures. So for right now, I'm going to deduct £22 from the cash total, but I'm not going to add them into the collection just yet because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Does that make sense? Good. If you have enjoyed this episode of the free trading game collection challenge, do me a favour and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.